So let's start. So who is taking it first?
It's my turn.
All right. Well, you're going to present it or you want me to present
Yeah,
it?
you can present it.
You want me to present it?
Yeah, I sent you the thing.
Ma, you don't look okay. It's fine. Everything fine.
Sorry?
Oh, you're looking a little dull today.
It's been a little hectic time. Okay. With very humble salutations to the gurus, we'll take forward the complicated, not so complicated topic of karma, the theory of karma. Last week, where we had stopped was we were talking about Sanchita karma. Just go to the next slide. I have just, to make it a little light, I have just told Sanchita karma is exactly this thing of accumulating whatever is happened in our past, all our lives. And we are only responsible for putting it into the piggy. So this is the universal set. It's a bigger set. It's a big cloud. Like today we talk about cloud, storing it in the cloud. So that is what it is. This is what is Sanchita karma. What is, with regard to this, what is Prarabdha karma? Now let us understand the meaning of the word itself as to how we have to look at it. We all know what karma means. Like it is, the root word of it is taken from the Sanskrit word kri. Like this itself, prarabdha itself means the word pra is the precursor to the action, that which has already started. For example, prarambha, prakriya, prakriti, pravritti. So prarabdha is something, the word itself explains that something which is set in motion, already set in motion. So now let us take a very mundane social example of whatever it is. We all try to collect a lot of things, or put some SIPs and put some money into the fixed deposit and everything. And over a period of a long time, we put it into that. And when the portion of it fares well and we get a part of the interest, do we deny that, no, I am not going to use it? No, we are looking forward to using that and experiencing that. Experience is a different thing. How we are going to do it is totally our prerogative. But we don't deny the interest or the portion of the principal amount what we are getting. This is our regular human nature. Whether it could be anything. I'm talking only about money, but it could be some material things, anything, that relationships we have accumulated. A portion of it, when we take out, we want to experience it. That is, we want to do the bhoga of it. Bhoga means experience. So this is exactly what is prarabdha karma. A portion of our own life's happenings, Iha Janma, many Janmas happenings are stored in one place, and a part of it is taken as Prarabdha Karma. That is what is Prarabdha Karma. Just go to the next slide. So, coming to the actual sloka. Prarabdha Karma kim iti chet. What is Prarabdha Karma, if I may ask? Idam Sharira Utpadhya. Ihaloka ivam sukha dukkadi pradam yat karma tat prarabdham. So, idham sharira utpadya, that which is responsible, that which is responsible for the kind of sharira you will be attaining, you will be coming into, that is prarabdha karma. Sukha dukkadi pradam. The experiences, sukha and dukkha, that the sharira will be experiencing is prarabdha karma. Yet karma, that kind of a karma is called as prarabdha karma. So, bhogena nashtam bhavati. So, how does this prarabdha karma, how do we exhaust this prarabdha karma? Like how I showed you in the previous slide, where the cart can be emptied only by exhausting that collection that is there. There is no way, no other way of emptying it. How we empty it is the discretion we have, but you have to experience it. Bhogena nashtam bhavati. So only by experiencing is this going to nashta, like it is going to go away. Prarabdha karma Bhoga, Bhoga Deva Kshaya iti. Kshaya is which is getting exhausted. The only way of exhausting this prarabdha karma is by experiencing it. So the next question comes, okay, one of the explanations what I read was the Gnani and the Agnani both have the prarabdha karma. So now the question becomes, anyway, Gnani is also experiencing prarabdha karma. Agnani is also experiencing prarabdha karma. Why go through all these procedures of, having to learn and anyway, it is destiny. In loose English language, if I have to call, it is destiny. For the short of words, I'll just tell it is destiny. So why all this then? Anyway, it is going to get experienced. Anyway, it is going to be there. So why should we do? Why should I do? I can sit simply, no problem. So what the Adi Shankara explains it to be, next slide, Vidhan. Adi Shankara says, Adi Shankara explains, tells the prarabdha karma is like an arrow that leaves the bow of an archer. So once the bow's course of action is set or the course is set, nothing can be done about it. The bow will go and fall wherever it has to fall. Because the quare, wherever is being shown, is the Sanchita. A few of the arrows have been picked and the arrow is already set in motion even before. So how was the arrow before? Even when the arrow is set in motion, it is already decided the kind of body you take, your ayu, the lifespan of this jiva, of this gross body, and also the bhoga, the experiences the body is going to have. It is set in motion. So then why talk about all these things and, okay, anyway, it is set in motion. Somebody is hitting the arrow. There is no other way that I can do anything. I can sit and relax. But things don't end there actually, because what he says is, what the seeker has to know is the gnana or whatever. Okay, the arrow is set in motion. The arrow lands in an X place. But what is the difference between the Gnani and the Agnani? The difference between the Gnani and the Agnani is the response to that arrow that is being shot. The response is in our hands. Like the explanation given is that prarabdha karma will determine the kind of sharira you take, the ayu it is there, and it also determines, it is also destined the experiences a person has, the sharira has. I would not say I use the word person, the experiences. But nowhere has it been told that the responses to the experience is also prarabdha. No. The responses to the experience is what determines, differentiates between a gnani and an agnani. And that response of how we tackle this whole thing is because we all have seen people have different responses to a same situation or different situations, however it is there. So this is the response that the sadhana chatushtaya or whatever is being discussed, where the seeker is asking, the dialogue that is happening, what is it that I'm going to gain from this, is where that determines the response of this. And this response is what last week we were also talking about, something called as the Kriyaman Karma. And this also becomes the next thing of, it gets into the bank of the Sanchita Karma. And the best part of this whole thing, reading when I was looking at it, was it beautifully connects to what Asha had told in the previous class. it answers a lot of our karma questions. It answers and it makes things simpler. She had spoken about, creating the vasanas, the vrittis and the vasanas. So the responses, what we give to this prarabdha karma, the arrow that is already set in motion, are the vasanas and the vrittis, the subtle vasanas and the vrittis that we are adding to the Sanchita bank. And just, though it is very largely understood that prarabdha karma means it is something not so good. No, definitely not. Because it is coming from a bank of Sanchita karma where our own actions have been put there. So it involves everything. It involves good, not so good, pleasant, not so pleasant. Everything is there. So, but the question about why the prarabdha karma, why should I go through this, comes only when we have some unpleasant situation in hand. But again, the free will comes to me with the unpleasant situation. I am having the free will to create another future good prarabdha karma. So this is what prarabdha karma is all about.
Thank you, Amma. Beautiful explanation.
Yeah, I love the bank example and bank analogies also. That was good.
So the prarabdha karma also has to be redeemed through bhoga only, right? It
Yeah.
could be pain or pleasure.
Yeah, bhoga means in the Sanskrit, literal Sanskrit meaning is experience. It is not pleasure. Bhoga means
It could be
experience.
either, right? Experience.
Yeah, experience. Yeah.
But practically it could be a painful one or a happy one.
Yeah, exactly.
We understand. Okay.
So generally when we colloquially talk about bhoga, we are talking about only the, it means something very, very rich and very pleasurable. But the literal meaning is it is bhogena. Bhogena means only by experiencing this will kshina, it will kshaya, it will go into this one. So that makes a person feel anyway I have to experience it. So why put all the effort? But where I also found that subtle meaning was, this is where our discretion, that viveka, discernment comes into the picture. Where that is why they have told the importance of sadhana chatushtaya and all the characteristics that the seeker has to have.
Yeah. So the response is in our control, and we can in a way define our future Sanchita Karma Bank.
So then now let me ask a couple of questions here. When we refer to the prarabdha karma, and this is for everyone, we kind of, as Uma has beautifully explained, that there will be certain bodies that we inherit, certain lifetime that we inherit, and there are certain situations or experiences that we will go through, right? Now link it with another Vedanga called astrology. Can you all link this?
Come again, link it with?
With astrology. How can you link prarabdha with astrology? In its true sense. I mean, not the astrology that we sort of get into a predictive science, which was never meant to be a predictive science. But I wanted to bring this up so we understand the clear understanding of astrology from the perspective of prarabdha.
Do the planetary positions reflect our prarabdha karma?
Right. So
The pariharams might be the answer.
right. So if you're right, Prema. So when you are born with a specific constellation of stars or a specific family or a specific situation, right? that is determined by my prarabdha. Now, what astrology was trying to do was trying to kind of give you a roadmap of the times which is going to be little difficult and of the times which is little good for you. Basically, by trying to map your prarabdha. It was never a predictive science to tell you that you will get a good job, or you'll have an international travel, or you'll have so many kids. That was an inference of people who were basically being in that position, trying to make some inferences. So my discussion with one of the astrologers, she clearly made me understand that, look, astrology has never been a predictive science. It is basically some sort of a guidance of the experiences that you will go through in a specific phases of life. So in a specific phase of life, you will go through a little bit of a challenging experiences, certain experiences or good experiences, but nobody can tell you what will lead to that experiences. So if you want to kind of overcome those experiences, you kind of do some things, that's okay. And at the same time, what I also understood in my discussion was that someone who is self-aware need not necessarily look at astrology. Why? Someone who is self-aware need not look at astrology. Why?
Because if you are aware, then you will understand what tendencies you have or the vasanas you have, and that is a pointer to what prarabdha you got.
Perfect. And a self-aware person will also kind of decide the response. So the more self-aware one is, the more are the chances for that person to actually take control of their life. Because if we are driven by our prarabdha, which means we are driven by our vasanas, we are driven by our programs, isn't it? And therefore, in that case, when you're driven by your prarabdha, where is the question of a free will? When you're driven by a path which is set out for you, where is the question of a free will? If you're
Free will is there only in the way I respond to that.
exactly, and how you respond to it, Sahana, can be either impulsive, but if it is impulsive, is that a free will?
Yeah, I think a self-aware person will be will be in a better position to accept it and see it in a way that how with a less damage how we can respond to that situation. He will not question it probably. He will not wonder why it is to me or anything like that. There's no self-blame or anything like that.
Right.
I think a self-aware person is not going to judge it, right? When a situation
There
happens,
is no
which is good.
postmortem of the past
Yeah.
actions.
Yeah,
There
and
is only
I don't
future
judge
what,
it,
yeah.
especially like why me? Why is it happening? When you know that, when you're aware that this is due to your prarabdha karma, you kind of tend to accept it, and as Bidan says, observe it from a distance.
Right. So this is a very interesting concept, this prarabdha, because, and you all are beautifully putting it together. When you say a self-aware person, what do you mean by that? What do you technically mean by a self-aware person?
Someone who's mindful.
Who is mindful, one, who is able to see your tendencies, your prarabdha. But prarabdha belongs to whom? It belongs to
The body,
exactly body and mind.
the mind.
Mind.
Yeah.
And a self-aware person is aware of what?
That he is none of them.
Exactly. A self-aware person is aware of the fact that he is the very, or she is the very consciousness, right? Is the chitta, which is observing the prarabdha, good and bad, playing out at body and mind. So that is where, when a person is self-aware, Prarabdha will play out. It's not that it will not play out, it will play out, but it will not lead to something called suffering. There will be pain.
Yeah, and a self-aware person would not, I mean, since he's aware, he's not going to try to change it. Right?
Yeah, I was about to tell the same thing, Anand. For a self-aware person, the focus is not on the depleting prarabdha. The focus is on the next what actions he is taking.
Yeah.
Not creating more agami.
And possibly enduring it.
Not
also.
even create the next actions that he's taking. Where it goes, whether it goes to his next agami, next sanchita, those things are not there at all.
Right?
And the focus, when the focus gets shifted from the pain, whatever, the one that is being in the background, and it's like one song that is running in the background. The focus is not that. Anyway, it will run irrespective of, you don't have the pause button for that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's going to run. It's your background song and it is going to run. So, you might as well, focus on creating something new. Yeah.
Instead of being an experience there, you become a observer there.
Yes.
You will shift your position.
Absolutely. You become a witness. You become a witness to the impact of prarabdha, knowing very well this too shall pass. And at the same time, you can keep certain amount of calm and composure and then respond consciously. So that's what, if you were to go deeper as we go along, and when you touch upon other texts, you will basically see the ultimate aim of Upanishad is this, that whatever is happening at the level of body and mind will happen purely on account of prarabdha and sanchita. But how can you kind of create a distance, be a lot more self-aware, and choose a path which you think is right after thinking through it, rather than being impulsive or rather than being too identified with the body and mind and getting carried away by prarabdha. So that's what I think understanding this concept can really do to all of us. Great. Any other comments before we move to the next slide? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll not be able to switch on my video. I am here in Chikmagalur. It's raining here. I'm not sure about my internet stability. So that's why my video will be off. Yeah. Sanchita karma brahmai vahamiti nischayatmaka jnanena nashyati. So now we know what is Sanchita karma. It's a huge bundle of accumulated karma from the countless past janmas. Right? That is what is Sanchita karma. So here they are saying jnanena nashyati. So that means is burnt or destroyed by the powerful medicine called jnanam. So it's like how the antibiotics kill the bacteria. So that similarly, the jnanam destroys the entire infinite bunch of Sanchita karma. Of course, now that we are studying, we can accept, but still we wonder, right? How is that, how that just the knowledge can destroy this infinite accumulated karma, right? To understand this, let's take an example of a person who is in the dream. The person who is in the dream, by the word I, he understands he understands that the dream body and the dream mind, and he also has a dream world, right? In the dream world, he does lot of good and bad actions. So he is also worried of being caught or punished if he does anything wrong. Right? So what happens when the same person wakes up? Here, the knowledge takes place. In the waking up knowledge, the meaning of the word I is totally changed. The word I in the dream world has a different meaning. The word I in the waking has a different meaning. So we can completely see there's a transition from one plane of existence to another plane. One is the dream I, one is a waking I. So imagine that the person who is in the dream, he has done a crime. He is imprisoned and he's been hit by a police. So he falls down and he goes and hits his head to the wall against and he is bleeding. That moment he wakes up. So what happens? So in the waking, he's supposed to be in the jail for 7 years. So now he woken up. Now how many years will he be in jail? So it's a totally different plane, right? So that's why they've used the word self-knowledge. It is an awakening from one plane to another. Not only the way I look at myself differs, the way I look at my dream world also differs. When I am in dream, I looked at it in a particular way. Same, when I am in the wake-up world, I look at it in a different way. It's a revolutionary change in the perspective, in the perspective of myself and the perspective I see the world. It is an awakening. There is a transition from one plane to another, right? So this significant change or that awakening and the transition of one plane to another is understood and assimilated, then only I'll be able to swallow this message that Sanchita karma is wiped out from Jnana. So this example should be used to understand this Jnanam or this awakening from one plane to another. So this 3 planes of we have understood in the previous class. We have given, there are technical words, the subjective reality, empirical reality, and absolute reality. Pratibhashika satya, vyavaharika satya, and paramarthika satya. So here the dream is the subjective reality and the world is the empirical reality. Atma is the absolute reality. So when I awaken from subjective I to empirical I, all the karmanis of the subjective I will be wiped out. When I awaken from empirical I to absolute I, then all the karmanis of the empirical plane will be wiped out. So what is left? The only I is left, which is absolute reality, right? So that is what it says. So we know the Sanchita karma is the seed for the rebirth, right? So here we are saying Sanchita karma is burnt by the knowledge. So it is like the seed is burnt. So it's a roasted seed. Can anything grow out of the roasted seed? No, right? Same way, the Jnani does not have a punarjanma. So that is what this shloka says. The Sanchita karma is destroyed by the knowledge that I am Brahman. Yeah, That's all. Thank you.
Beautiful explanation. Today, everybody's on a roll, starting from Momo.
This is where I wanted to bring that story of, where Janaka, Rajrishi Janaka dreams that one day Janaka, Sita's father, dreams that he is a pauper and he's been dethroned and he's a beggar. And he wakes up and he is begging for food. And he wakes up from the dream and he is very petrified. And he asks, Ye such, ya wo such. Is this true or is that true? And none of his people are able to answer these questions. And he goes to his guru Ashtavakra to ask this question, ki ye sach ya wo sach. So the guru says, Ashtavakra says, na ye sach, na wo sach. It is only you who are the truth. You are the Brahman, you are the truth. And that is where stems the realize that Atma explanation comes, where he explains this whole thing in Ashtavakra Gita also, where this is also not true. How true is the Brahman? Rather, let's talk about it positively. That is where Ashtavakra explains that nothing but you are the truth. You are the whole truth. The dream, what Sahana was talking about, no? The duality, how it ends. And there is the thing of, that is why Janaka is never referred to as a Raja. He is a Raja Rishi because he realizes that what the truth is.
Beautiful. Thanks, Suma.
So, a question for all of you. How do you wake up from the dream to the reality from the perspective of Upanishads? So, how do you move from one, what was the word you used, Shahana? Very beautifully you said. The 3 levels of reality, but you use some word.
Yeah. Objective reality, empirical reality, and absolute reality.
Yeah. So, how do you move away from empirical to the absolute reality? What is it? What do you need to do from the perspective of scriptures?
I think we have to polish the mirror.
You're right. In essence, how?
By following the sadhan chatushtaya and all the things that have been laid out, and deciding and kind of following all the 4 margas, whether it is jnana, raja yoga, bhakti yoga, karma yoga, all of them together, and keep polishing the mirror.
Well,
Not getting entangled with the experiences and staying as a sakshi.
yes, everybody's right. So they kind of put it in 3 words. They call it Shruti, Yukti, and Anubhava. What is Shruti? Shruti is to discover your inner essence with the help of Shruti, which is your Vedas or Upanishads, whatever we call it, which is what we are doing. What is Yukti? Yukti is analyzing, not taking anything on the face value. It's not a matter of belief. It should logically make sense to you. So at least we all know from our own experience that we are conscious beings. That much we know. That we are able to see our body and or witness our body and mind. The experiences arising in the body and mind, I am the witness. So much clarity we have, and there is no 2 doubts about it. Yes, the complications will come when the Shruti says that the entire universe is within you, that you the one which is witnessing is not only the Chit, it is also the Sat, which means it ever was, it ever will be, and is also the source of all the happiness, or what they call it, Anantam or Ananda. So those are the facts that needs to be really understood more, but we know. So that is Shruti from Upanishads, Yukti, you analyze, and third is Anubhava. Anubhava is you have to experience few things in your life, at least look at yourself, how life has evolved for you, get into Vedantic meditation, get into certain amount of sadhanas, and see it for yourself that this make sense. So only when we do all the 3 steps over a period of time, Shruti, Yukti, and Anubhava, then we can move from the empirical reality to the absolute reality. Well, perfect. Let's go to the. Okay. You're on.
So, yeah, we have seen how a Jnani is free from Sanchita and how Prarabdha works in the case of a Jnani. Now we have to see how a Jnani is free from Agami Karma also. So we'll look at the shloka first. Agami Karma api Jnanena nashyati kincha Agami Karmanam Nalinidala Gata Jalavat Jnaninam Sambandho Nasti. So Nalinidala Gata Jalavat. So this means just as the lotus leaf is unaffected by the water on it. So the Agami karma is also destroyed by Jnana, as we have been discussing. And the Jnani is not affected by it. Even in the case that he has it, it's only a supposition. Even in the case that the Jnani is has or accumulated Agami karma, still it doesn't affect him. So that is what the shloka is. We'll see how. So the first thing is to prove this, the text actually goes in a slightly roundabout fashion. So we have to look at the terms and conditions under which the karma applies or accumulates or does not accumulate. So for that, the example given is if there is a law system in the country, a legal system, the legal system also applies only under certain conditions. Some certain terms and conditions have to be satisfied. For example, criminal laws cannot be applied in all cases across the board. There will be certain conditions to be met. So if a underage couple gets married, it's not possible that they can experience the karma of that because the marriage itself is null and void. So let us say there is a person of who's mentally unsound. The same criminal laws cannot be applied to that person because he is not aware. So that I-ness or doership is absent there. So the Shastras, that is, if we are looking at a legal system which is codified, similarly, we have a Vedic system which is codified. There is a framework into which things have to fit. So under that framework, again, the Shastras are dictating the terms and conditions where the karma happens and whether the karma is valid or not, and what would the fallout from that karma, the punyam or papam, whatever it is, whatever has to accrue. So the examples given are that some rituals can be performed only by some people who are deemed to be fit for doing something. Else the phalam of that will not accrue. This is what it says. For example, the same rituals cannot be done by maybe a married person as against a sannyasi, let us say. So there are some, conditions to be satisfied. First of all, to be qualifying something as a karma and its fallout. Next slide, Bidan. So as per the Vedic constitution, as per the Vedic framework, karma can result in punyam or papam only under the 4 conditions. That is, ahankara, mamakara. Mamakara means minus, mama, raga, dvesha. These are the 4 conditions. So here the feeling of I plays an important role. So in case I do some karma in my deep sleep and there is no ahankara or mamakara in that, then no papam can accrue into my account. So ahankara, mamakara, ragadvesha sahita karmani punya papa janakani bhavanti. So this is the basic, condition to be met. So unless the karma is performed with all these 4 conditions, it cannot be, the punyam or papam cannot be decided. For example, if an animal does a karma, we cannot attach any aham in it. So there will be no karma attached also. So that is the explanation given. Yeah, we can go to the next slide. So what happens, these 4 conditions, unless the 4 conditions are there, the karma is not accounted for. But what about in the case of a jnani, he has transcended these 4. So he has transcended ahankara, he has transcended mamakara, raga, vesha. So we cannot apply that rule of karma here. That's what the argument is. And the agami karma hence cannot be applied to the jnani. So as Sahana was explaining, he has already moved from the mortal I to the superior Atma. So the laws of karma themselves absolve the jnani of this agami karma. So it just doesn't get generated. So agami karma pi jnanena nashyati. Nashyati means perishes, but perishing happens only if it is there, first of all. In this case, it is not applicable. It is negated, actually. So, theoretically, there is a supposition in the text which says that even if in case there is an agami karma that is generated for the jnani, still this agami karmana nalini dalagata jalavat. So it is as good as the water of duck's back. So it doesn't get accumulated for the jnani. That is what the shloka says. Now, I just wanted to add one point actually here. The agami karma is for an ajnani is calculated from the birth or from the day that they, what should I say? Not realization. There should be some maturity of the person, some age from where the agami karma can starts accumulate. We cannot say the same about an infant or a toddler, right? But for a jnani, the cutoff is when? The cutoff for this accumulation will be from the day of jnanam, actually, from the rise of knowledge. That will be the criteria that is applied. Jnani deha kritam. So whatever karma is done by the jnani, this karma is done by the body of the jnani. That is being actually kind of highlighted because the jnani is distancing himself from the body again. So that clarification is happening here. He doesn't claim the body to be himself. Since he has understood the principle of the stula sukshma karana sharirat vyaktirikta, because he is different from these stula shariram, sukshma shariram, etc. So all the punyam, papam, whatever, good, bad, everything is jnani deha kritam. Of course, we, if in the case of a jnani, we always expect that the actions will be good. So that is how he is free from the agami karma.
very beautiful, Prema.
Actually,
it has-
this one point, this supposition of how can an agami karma even happen for a jnani is actually explained in the next shloka. Actually, it becomes clear why he's only kind of given a suggestion here. He's suggesting that it could be a possibility, that's all. But actually, the clarification comes later. Maybe we'll see it in the next session.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. So any questions? No. Okay. So we are now slowly coming towards the end of TattvaBodha, right? Which is an introductory text of, and this is a prakranam. So having understood TattvaBodha gives us the ability to understand a lot more complicated texts, including Bhagavad Gita. Now, since we are coming to the back end and we have been through this journey and a lot of information has floated around, we were thinking of doing a proper revision of what we have learned. And when we are saying revision, it does not necessarily mean that we are going shloka by shloka, but trying to get the essence of what we have learned so far. So what we are going to do is we are going to post the certain aspects of TattvaBodha which are critical. Asha has collated that for all of us. So what we are going to do is we are going to post that. And I will request each of the teams or individually to kind of pick up one thing or one aspect that you can talk about. So it is like a summary. It is like a summary of what we have learned so far. And we will give the blocks of summary. Say, for example, one block could be talking about Shariratraya. That means bringing out the essence of Sthul Shariram, Sukh Shariram, Karana Shariram, in terms of what exactly it means in a very generalized manner and how does that understanding help me. Another one can take Avasthatraya, waking state, deep sleep state, and dream state. How does knowing that help us? Right? So these are the concepts which has been explained in detail in this prakranam. And it is important for us to revisit and internalize those concepts. So we will kind of set out the basic contours, the basic sections which has been covered in TattvaBodha, and we'll request each one of you, either individually or as a group, to pick up one section and present, so that we can summarize the entire TattvaBodha mostly in one or maximum in 2 sessions, and also respond to all the questions that has been asked during the session or when we are kind of making those presentations before we conclude with TattvaBodha. The idea is, having spent so much of time, we should go back with certain concrete concepts, understanding, and something that we can do with it on a daily basis. Does it make sense? No reaction? Everybody is in a Nyan mode, witness mode, observer mode.
No, we are thinking about the karma which is coming our way. Great. So we will do that and we will post. Yes, Kaushal, you wanted to say something?
So I was just looking at the timeline of this. We are in May first week. Will this be done by this month or we are moving it to the next month?
I'll have to check. I don't know how many. Asha, you have any clue how many shlokas are there?
See, the plan was to just do it in one session, right, Bidan? Am I
Yes,
wrong?
one, but if
Yeah.
if it gets stretched a bit, at least we should have a buffer.
Yeah, so The idea was initially cautioned that we'll have one session for the summarization and second session for a Q&A. So it's not like we'll stretch over multiple sessions. So I think we have one more week to go, right, Vedan? 3 more
Yeah, one-
shlokas.
Yeah.
So
We
let's say we,
probably done by this month, no?
yeah, so 15th, let's say we are finishing. So maximum 22nd and 29th, we should be done if we are doing on Wednesdays.
Sounds good.
Why don't we have the QA as soon as we finish one section? That will be more relevant because we can't keep track again across sessions. Let us finish that and then move to the next session.
No, but the idea is to do the whole thing in one session, right, Asha?
That was the idea. And so, yeah, but we can always look at it. Uma also had one suggestion. Uma, you didn't talk about that.
I didn't get to talk, then I said, okay.
Uh,
No, I was actually talking to Asha yesterday that we'll make this summary, you know, what do you say, very, I want to channelize it a little bit. Like we'll have a proper template. We'll have a proper template that says the essence of the shloka and just the 3 points in which we stick to that whole thing of presenting the essence of the shlokas, whether it's a group or individual or whatever it is. So what happens is, see, I am from where I'm coming. That's what I told Asha yesterday. Just by going through this TattvaBodha and everything, the videos that I was searching, no, the kind of content we have, Swa Adhyaya of TattvaBodha, and the kind of videos that we have is like enormous actually. I mean, so the whole idea is that tomorrow when somebody searches for a summary of TattvaBodha, no, I am looking at we trending somewhere. I'm not saying that Google has to show us first, but looking at, you know, so I was looking at making a proper template for the ease of things and following a complete synchronicity in presenting the whole stuff.
But is it going to be shloka based at all?
No, it will not, it will
Summary?
be bucketed, Prema, like how Asha has bucketed, no?
wait,
Like now
let
see
me share it.
karma.
No, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share it right
About
away.
karma, now it is, we spoke about it. Like, let's take today's example only. So, or about Panchakoshas. We have spread the, I mean, the shlokas are spread maybe from 11.5 to 11.8. But the essence of whole of that Panchakosha is in the shlokas. So we'll not be going shloka wise, we'll be going concept wise.
Yeah, I think that will be better.
Yeah, I just posted the outline.
You can
So
present it as here if you can. Can you?
it is actually just on WhatsApp. So
Okay.
yeah, I just posted it there. It's just a set
I
of
was just
points. Right?
discussing with Asha yesterday that am I complicating things or is it too much to ask to just stick to that schedule? I mean, that kind of a template and all that. Outline, not even a template.
So the thing is, I feel it will change the format. So if let's assume we are doing it from a consolidated video perspective, where you're looking at kind of having it as a YouTube summary for TattvaBodha, then having questions in between, that thing will change, right? I mean, if you're having a topic, then the questions will change it, and it might extend also. Of course, it's more logical to have some participation right after it. That is also good, but the thing will not get completed in one class.
That's where I
Definitely
am
it will
also
extend
having
it.
the duality. I don't know how to,
Maybe we have a fixed fixed time after each presentation, like a 2-3 minutes discussion, and then we move on. So maybe we can kind of slot that also.
I feel what's the rush? Like, if we are anyways investing our time, and if the idea is to get our questions clarified, and after every topic, if there are things in our mind, why don't we take that time and actually absorb it at whatever pace that everybody is going at? I mean, is that an issue? Like, I'm just asking.
Then we have to group a few questions. Like, I mean, like how Asha has sent, like module 1, 2, 3, something, we have to group it together, do the presentation, and questions related to that can be taken up. Then move to the next one. each individual module question taking up will become a very, that itself will consume a lot of classes. Sapna. I mean, this is my thought.
Well, why don't we do one right now? Let's group up the questions. Anyway, Asha, you have done it. And I think somewhere we should see how much time it is going to take. In how much time, suppose if Vidhan was to present, or to Uma, Asha, Prema, Pashila, anybody was supposed to present, how much time will it take to cover that? Can we just do that more?
Don't you think it's a little like, because depends on the topic. Like, for example, the very first thing is who is an adhikari?
Yeah.
Okay, so sadhana chatushtaya is the shlokas 1 to 7, which has to be presented. Now, the second topic, what we are looking at is constitution of a jiva.
Hmm.
So whether this constitution of the jiva, all the shariratraya, avastratraya, everything has to be covered in one thing, or we should break that also. It depends on whether how we are going to take module. One module may take very less, one module may take a little more time. Nothing to do with the presenter.
Right.
See, the thing is, if we keep it to max of 10 minutes, my thought process is you will have to remove the inconsequential and focus on the essence. The idea of a summary is not to do a complete shloka by shloka going through again. So it would make sense to just focus on the broad understanding instead of going, explaining the shlokas all over again. So we should just be a little higher level than what we did already and just present the essence for that thing. Yeah, you are right that there might be certain ones which might take less and certain ones which might take more, but we'll still set a max cap, right?
No, that is the essence will take more, essence will take less. That is nothing to do with the shloka.
Yeah, but I'm saying we can still have a max cap of 10 minutes or whatever X minutes that we decide, so that it's not like, we spend half an hour or 45 minutes on only one thing. So that will at least set the time limit.
And the subject is so abstract and so experiential that half an hour is also less. I mean, it is individualistic. It will go on actually.
Yeah,
Right.
which is why if you have a structure, then you can kind of.
That's what I was
close
telling
it
Asha,
at
that
that.
okay, what the shloka is, what is the takeaway from it, what's the essence? If this we maintain, no, it will become a synchronous thing with everything.
Yes, I think we should have some structure to this, and maximum 2 slides. This is the structure that we give, so we will not necessarily extend beyond 10 minutes. If we have the structure in place, we exactly say what is it that you need to say. Let's do a quick mock within ourselves once, and just, Uma, can you just send the structure that you're thinking of?
Yeah.
Let's do that. And let's see if it can be done. I think we should be able to do it in 10 minutes.
The idea is to simplify it. That's all.
Simplify it. We should simplify it as much as possible and leave some time for Q&A.
Yeah.
So that,
and the thing is to leave out unnecessary details. I'm not saying, if you try to dig into every detail, then you'll not finish.
Correct.
But you have to decide what to not get too deep into.
right. Okay, so this is good. So let's just go ahead with this and take it forward.
Yeah.
All right, then let's do our prayers and see each other next week.
Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति Shanti. Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
everyone.